So I'm going to bring out Ryan Johnson. Where's he at? There he is. What's going on, Ryan?
Nothing much. Just closing out another sunny day here in California. How are you?
Yeah. I'm up here in Cleveland and freezing my butt off. So it's all good though. Ryan, NewRule FX.
Yeah.
You guys have a lot of exciting products, and a lot of it is geared towards stunts and practical application things. It's not just like a static prop. You're actually using it. So get into some of the products that you guys have and things that you sell.
Yeah. So we primarily serve the entertainment industry with special effects props is what we call it. And they're generally things that are used in kinetic scenes, in TV shows, movies, theater productions, haunted houses, all those kinds of things. Our job is to try to keep the actors safe. So the leading product line that we have is our breakaway props. And we do things like breakaway bottles, balsa wood, things like that. You can see on the website there, we have a wide range of products that we make that are created from a plastic resin, and it breaks very easily and safely. So, for example, I've got a cup here. So if I wanted to, you could cut back to me for a second. I'm just going to throw this against the back wall. Let's see what happens. What do you think? Let's make a mess for the crew to clean up tomorrow. And so all the stud props in the back there are also made out of foam. So, it's made for scenes for it to be dynamic. And anytime you see an action scene in a movie, we want to keep the actors safe so that they can keep working on the set every day without having to shut down. And so we employ a lot of foam, a lot of rubber, a lot of breakaway and things like that.
Yeah, I don't think that I think that's the first time anybody's ever destroyed their shop on this show. I think we should make it a thing now that every guest that comes on has to break something.
Love it.
So
yeah, it's a lot of fun.
You being out in Los Angeles, I'm sure you don't just cater to the haunt industry. What kind of fun projects have you been able to?
Yeah, so a lot of television, a lot of motion pictures. So, shows that the kind of haunt industry folks would probably know are like The Walking Dead and shows like that. We've done stuff for Marvel, a lot of stuff for Netflix, and even like reality shows like Big Brother, see Banshee, Mr. Robot. Code Black. We do stuff for the late night shows all the time. They like to do a lot of different skits. Preacher. Gosh, I can't even think. It's like Halloween Hell. We did a bunch of stuff for a movie. They actually shot some of that in our studio. Yeah, all kinds of stuff. So movies, TV shows, theater productions as well. Yeah. What's some of your? I don't even know.
Go ahead.
So one of the questions we just got asked is how safe is it to use on yourself? Like, I'm guessing the glass, not one.
Oh, like the breakaways? Yeah, they're quite easy. Let me give you another demonstration.
I actually watched him break a glass bottle over like a guest's head, and she got to keep the bottle.
Oh, right. Yeah. So that's one of my favorite demonstrations, and we got to test the products to make sure that they're safe for our actors. So this is our white wine bottle. It's made out of plastic resin mix. And so if I want to smash it right on my face like that, I'll be able to do it. You guys ready? Here we go.
Even the noise is like, he's packed that like it's crazy.
Yeah. So if we're gonna be doing a stunt scene, that's gonna be the kind of glass that's gonna be on the set, not real glass.
So obviously this isn't. This breakaway glass has been around since the first motion picture, maybe even longer than that. How did you get involved in this? How did you develop your products and get them everywhere?
Yeah, so I started my production company in 1991, and I used to direct television shows and movies and things like that. And so right around 2009, 2010. I was working on another molding and casting project, and when I was talking with a friend of mine, he actually had a breakaway beer bottle on display, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool. Those are really neat. I've wanted to play with those." He's like, "Yeah, they're really cool, but they're very expensive." And so, I think at the time, when this is like 2010, I think they were like $24 for one bottle, and I thought, "God, that's really, really expensive." You know, turns out it's really difficult to make these breakaway bottles. The process is very long and time intensive, takes a long time, and the materials that are used are pretty expensive. But I kind of started my business with the idea of trying to figure out a way to reduce that cost for not only my own productions, but other companies and regional theaters and things like that. And so I basically took like 2 years and experimented in my garage until I figured out the secret formula, if you will. And that business just kept growing naturally, and we just kept adding more and more props and products to the site.
Tayen, you look like you got one.
Yeah, I do. I had somebody ask, it was Keon. He asked, what are the breakaway glass made from? Everybody wants to know about the glass.
Yeah. So, motion picture quality breakaway glass from a plastic resin mixture. It's kind of in the same family as hot glue. So it's a plastic modifier that's used in like industrial plastics, but we use it. There's several different ingredients that we mix together to control the amount of brittleness and plasticity of the plastic. A lot of times it's referred to as sugar glass or candy glass, but I can assure you there's no sugar and it does not taste like candy. You can make breakaway glass from home if you want. You can, and we actually have the recipe for it on our website at NewRuleFX.com if you want to try your hand at making your own candy glass at home using your stove and all that kind of stuff. There's directions for that on the site.
Speaking of your website, you're running a discount. Why don't you talk about that?
Yeah, just because I was coming on here and I thought I'd give your viewers an opportunity to get a little discount. And if you guys want to try out some of the effects and props, you don't have to be in the movie business. You don't have to have a haunted. You can just buy anything you want. We sell all of our products online 24/7 on our website at NewRuleFX.com. And if you use the code FEAREXPO, all one word, no space, you'll get 15% off your entire order from now till the end of May. So if you guys want to check out some of the stuff we're doing, buy some breakaway bottles and smash over your friends' heads, use that code and you'll get 15% off.
That's really cool, man. Thanks for doing that.
Yes.
Speaking of our viewers, so we do giveaways and stuff. We're going to do a giveaway tonight. If we hit 40 viewers, hashtag HauntCon 2024, we are going to give away a t-shirt, hoodie, and hat combo. All three of those things sent to you, to your door. That'd be cool. So hashtag HauntCon 2024.
Awesome.
So,
I got a couple questions.
okay,
I'm here.
keep them coming.
So Keon said, I see a ton of other breakaway props on your website too. Do you custom work if I need something I can't find there?
Yeah, absolutely. We're doing custom jobs every single day. That makes up a big part of what we do. So if you have a specific product that you need or a specific prop, a lot of times what people will do is just send us the original or the hero, and then we'll make a replica of it. If we're going to do a foam version, we'll take a real thing, make a mold of that, and then we can cast a foam version. If we need to make a breakaway, there's many different ways we can do that. And it's not just limited to plastic. We also do a lot of balsa wood props. So like furniture, don't really have a little stool over here in the background. That's a breakaway stool, but we can do violin, clock, tables, and all that kind of stuff. We actually just did a whole breakaway set for Mark Rebele that did 2 shows out at Coachella, and he basically went on stage and went crazy and just broke all kinds of stuff. So that was a lot of fun.
I had John Russell say, "Can I crazy person and eat? Is it edible? Basically,
It's edible.
he said eatable.
The short answer is, yeah, we don't really recommend it. It's just plastic. It'll go right through you. I've eaten it and it kind of just tastes gritty like dirt. But the plastic is pretty inert and it's not going to really cause any major problems. My experience is, yeah, you can crunch it and bite it all up and then just rinse it out of your mouth later.
And then one more question. Zach said, I'm assuming since it is resin, it is not biodegradable then, correct? So hunt in the woods during cleanup instead of stomping it and breaking it into the ground.
Yeah, it is. It is made from plastic, so it doesn't biodegrade very well. It does, you can mash it down into a very fine powder. But usually, when we're working on a sound stage, it's just being swept up and put into a bag and disposed of that way. Yeah, we always try to clean up after ourselves.
All right, that's all I got.
So how do you see your products integrating into the haunted house industry?
So a lot of the foam props are used by a lot of the scare actors. And if they want to be running around with an axe or a sledgehammer or a baseball bat full of big spikes or something like that, those are really great options. And we have a lot of those types of, weapons that are actually made safe. Breakaways, one of the things that I tell people to do, I scraped the pieces of plastic off my head. We came up with the idea, like if you have a long queue, a big line full of people and everybody's, kind of hanging out, waiting to go through the haunted house. If you plant one of your workers in the line with like a beer bottle, for example, then you could have one of your characters come up and, hey, you're not allowed to drink here. And then grab a beer bottle out of there, break it over their head. And then, just provide a little moment of interest for the people that are all waiting in line. We made that suggestion at a trade show a number of years ago. Another haunt operator came back a year later and said, we tried that trick with having somebody in line with the beer bottle and say, because it is like a dry, this particular haunt, they didn't have any alcohol. And so he made a big scene about, let's have alcohol here. Blah, blah, blah. Broke the bottle on their head. And he said, we had a trash can at the end of the line right before you got it. And by the end of the night, that thing was completely full of unopened beer and wine bottles and like all these kinds of things. They were so worried they were going to get smashed on the head. So he's like, yeah, it was great. We took them all out of the trash can. And after we wrapped the show, we had a big party for free.
Got anything, Tayen?
Yeah, he said, do you prefer wood handles or foam handles?
I always prefer the foam handles just because we tend to see actors and characters get really into it. And, it's not much of a distance between the foam head of an act and the wooden handle that it's attached to if you're using wood. So all of our props, there are either aluminum armatures inside or a fiberglass rod, so that if you are hit with the handle, if somebody else makes contact or something like that, you're still pretty safe.
So other than breakaways, so you talk about your foam props and your safety weapons and everything like that. I don't know if Chris can bring up the website here. Let's talk about some of your other stuff other than breakaway, some of the cool things that you got right now and some of the things that you're working on.
Okay. Yeah. So we have a section called action props, and that's got some fun stuff in it. And those tend to be, we have a lot of blood rigs, which are cool. So for example, our blood emitting utility blade knife is really neat because it looks like your regular old box cutter. And on the back of it, we've got a blood rig system on there. So you can fill it up with some of our non-stained fake blood, and you can draw it right across your arm and end up with a really cool looking blood effect. We have a scalpel that's similarly rigged, knives of all kinds. And then we have weird stuff like a detonator that's like just a light up prop. You pop it open and push the button and it lights up. A lot of these props all start out as a request from some production. So, that scalpel there, actually, I believe, if I remember right, It was originally done for Jessica Jones, if I'm not mistaken, which was a Marvel TV show that ran a few years ago. And they had a scene where they needed to, cut somebody open with a scalpel, and so we figured out that rig, and then after that, we were able to use that, and we just continue to sell it to the public.
So out of all the props and all the breakaways and all the projects that you worked on, had to do, we'll say top 5. We'll see if Chris can't find them and he can show them up for us. Give us your top 5 and kind of give us some of the backstory.
Okay. So if we're talking about by popularity, the number one prop is basically your standard straight breakaway beer bottle. That makes up probably 60 to 70% of the breakaways that we sell on a regular basis. We are making breakaway 6-packs every single day. And most of the time we can't keep up. But the breakaway beer ball is number one. The number 2 item that we sell is actually our stage blood. So that would be like under the expendables area. And that blood there, we sell it it's at the very top in the front. Yeah. So in that little tiny vial or a gallon or 5 gallon, we even can sell it in 33 gallons. And we've spent a lot of time designing this blood. It's a washout formula, so it doesn't stain. It doesn't have any corn syrup or sugar or anything like that in it. So a lot of the folks in the production industry prefer this because it's a lot better to work out of the sound stage and all the sets, and especially the costumes and things like that. So, a lot of people in the hot industry have their favorite fake blood. This is really geared towards being removable and a washout formula. It's not a paint, it's not a perma blood, but it is something you can put all over your costume or all over your face and arms or whatever, and then wash it out. And we've just recently really built up a whole automation system to fill it all up. That's another really popular one. And then, the kind of random funny things are like the fake money. That's always really popular. Just because a lot of productions want to have like tons of money flying around, especially in the music videos and stuff like that. So we sell some of the prop money. We don't actually print this. There's actually a company in Florida that makes this, but we're the kind of the West Coast rep for that particular prop. And, the things that I enjoy doing is making really realistic replicas of real things. So, when it comes to custom projects, we've got them all over the map. Currently, we are just finishing up a full-size replica of the bomb that was dropped on Nagasaki in Japan at the end of World War II, and it's called Fat Man, and it's a 11-foot long, 5-foot diameter bomb, and that has been a very big project that we've been working on. And in the next few weeks or so, we'll probably be putting some images up of it on our social media account before it heads off to a museum to be part of their permanent display.
So for all the haunted horror hounds out there watching, if you were to tell them, hey, if you were to watch this movie and you were to look closely, you'll find X, Y, and Z. What's the short list of that?
Oh, geez. Okay, let's see. This is the question I get all the time, and it's always the hardest to remember because like every week there's another prop going out to somebody. The thing that people would remember, we have hundreds of different foam props in behind the scenes in Walking Dead. We've done a lot of props for that. Let's see. Let me go to my list here of stuff that we've got. Westworld, we did some really cool stuff. I guess that's not really a horror movie, but kind of gets a little weird at the end. But we did actually that same scalpel we did. Anthony Hopkins used that to cut open a face of one of their robots, and it was all bleeding, and it was really cool. That's fun. And let's see. Banshee, I guess you can't really consider that a horror movie, but we did a bunch of breakaway props for them, chairs and tables. There's a whole scene in like a old antique store, and they just had chairs hanging everywhere, and there was just this huge melee fight, and so we did a lot of breakaways for that. Wood shock, I don't know that ever made any splash, but we did a fake tree piece for a movie called Wood Shock, and we designed this whole foam tree trunk that somebody was going to get smashed into, and that was kind of gruesome but pretty fun. But yeah, my list is like so long, it's hard on the spot to like think of exactly which things we've got, because we've been doing it a long time. We send out a lot of props, and the studio trucks are out here all the time picking up stuff, and a lot of times I won't even know what show it is. Now it's really fun to just sit in a movie theater and watch a movie and be surprised when I see one of our props suddenly pop onto the screen and I wasn't even ready for it.
Well, Brian, where can we find you, and where can we find NewRule FX all out in the interwebs, trade shows, all that stuff? Tell us where we can find.
Yeah, absolutely. So newrulefx.com is our home, and that's our website. There anytime 24/7. You can order props and stuff right now. And we are located in Los Angeles, specifically in Van Nuys, in the beautiful, hot San Fernando Valley of Los Angeles. And yeah, traveling all over. And I will be back at Fear Expo for sure, because we had a really great time there just a few months ago. It was our first time at Fear Expo. We really had a blast, and really enjoying the Fear Expo family. So we'll definitely be back at that. We'll be back at Trans World, and we may be doing some other trade shows as well. But yeah, online, NewRule FX, pretty much for all the socials, you can find us. And yeah, and anybody can get a hold of me. You can just contact us right through the website.
Awesome. Ryan, thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for everything you do for the industry and for us. Keep on making that weird stuff and smashing it over your head, because we're going to keep buying it. I promise you that.
Yeah. Promise we'll keep it up. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thanks, guys.
All right. That was cool. It's such a unique thing for the Honda industry, is having all these breakaway props, but then having the whole ties to Hollywood and everything like that. Like, it's like that's the real deal. This is like legit stuff from it.